Hey guys. Hello. Yep. Can you see where I burnt myself? Yeah. I was cooking bacon, and it's a good thing I wear glasses because like this huge like grease just, yeah, dangerous. Dangerous. Cooking that bacon. So I was like, oh wow, geez. Got a little blister. So, all right. So this is part 21 of our journey through a Weedwife's remedy. This is part 2. We're doing mint, and we didn't get through all of the mint last time. And then last week we did meat because I had to go to the eye doctor. And I have some iritis in my eye, which is like inflammation. But it was like not really, just it was sort of just starting, so they just ended up like dilating my eye. And if anyone knows how their eye dilated, you know that like you're not doing anything else. So but and a lot of times I swear it's brought on by stress, this issue. And you know, it's better. I still feel a little bit. And then my teeth started hurting, so I went to the dentist today, and I have like a small crack in one of my teeth, and he has to take the filling out and replace the filling, and it's just like snowball and like the eyes and the teeth. So that's what I've been dealing with past 2 weeks. On top of, I'm unemployed, so I'm looking for work. Yay. It's always fun. But I hope everyone else is well. That was a little bit of what I'm going through. My friend and I are applying for a grant from Mountain Rose Herbs for our herb school that we're starting. So we're pretty excited about that. So I'm working on that. Just a lot of things. But let me post that we're live in Facebooks. Sometimes that helps to let everyone know that we are live. Sometimes. Sometimes. Oh, that's pretty. They got a lot of pretty little backgrounds on Facebook. So anyway, we had such a good discussion last time. So maybe everyone was minted out. So we're gonna be on page 96, and it's a section called "At the Table of the River Nymph, Dining on River Mint." Oh, and I have an update on my little mint clipping. I was trying to get it to grow roots, and it just didn't. It wasn't happening. So, yeah, it didn't make it, but oh well. I tried. I really did. I was really excited about that, but you know, I'll have to get some actual apple mint plants. So, anyway. All right, so page 96. There's no shortage of widely available recipes involving all manner of mentha species. So I'll just touch on a few ideas here. One of my favorite ways to eat our river mint, or I might have reread some of this. I might be rereading some of this from last week. because I think we were talking about this. Yes, I did. All right, that's fine. I will. Okay. So we're actually at the bottom because we went over this last week. But it's a really good section about recipes and all kinds of stuff. And if you weren't here last week, I would totally check that. I mean, it was last week. It was the week before that. Totally check that out because it was really fun. So we're in Traveler's Tea, diaphoresis, and the immune system. One of the most useful overall actions in an herb is the ability to increase peripheral circulation. So that's the that's your fingers and stuff like that. I'm just gonna look that up, like stuff on the outside, so that I can. And I did not have a chance to read this. I apologize. Occipital first. So, according to the internet, it says the percipital means areas away from the center, refers to areas away from the center of the body or body part. So I guess your is concerned with the transport of blood flow, distribution, exact exchange between blood and tissues, and the storage of blood. Okay, so it's just about blood moving around your body and how it's distributed. So we'll go with that. And this triggers diaphoresis when required. Diaphoretics are most thought of in cold/flu, usually when there's a fever present, and most especially when the fever has become unproductive. So let me just look up what diaphoretic means again. Also, okay. We'll have our Miss Heather here. So diaphoretic. Okay, so it makes you sweat. So it's an herb that makes you sweat. That's what that is. Because it's very helpful a lot of times when you're got a cold or a flu to do the sweating. Diaphoretic teas have been used for as long as most chemical for breaking a fever by increasing the peripheral circulation, usually until a visible sweat appears on the person, which is often followed by a timely recovery. Because of this, people tend to think of diaphoretics as simply causing sweating, but this is a vast oversimplification of a much more vital function of the immune system. Hi everyone! Let's just join. We're talking about mint part 2. So, if you have a favorite mint, feel free to pop it in the comments of what it is. We're talking about mints in regards to like cold and flus in this section, and we're on page 97 of our book here. The single most classic diaphoretic tea is most likely the herbal triplet of elderberry, mint, and yarrow. Your standard peppermint can work quite nicely there, or try an especially spicy species of Oh my gosh. Okay. This is what she's talking about. A lot of things to look up today. This has got to be a type of mint. Bee balm. Okay, so it's this herb called bee balm. I'm gonna Hey Heather. Oh, you can't stay today. Hello, can't say sorry. Had to run up and pick up onion from the vet. 6 of my cats. Oh no! Had an upper respiratory infection. Yeah, Monardia. Monardia, yes, that's bee balm. Thank you. I'll try to be back before you're over. Okay. Well, I hope your kitties are well. It's awful. Oh, that sounds awful. My gosh, they must have all gotten stuff from each other. Oh my gosh. Well, if you don't make it back in time, I totally understand, okay? But he's done and they're called. Okay, well, I hope your kitties are feeling much better. Okay. Send them my love. Okay, so that's the Wikipedia of Monardia. It's a genus of flowering plants. Yes, yes, Heather. Thank you. You're welcome. Yes, I hope they're feeling better, and that's tough. That's really tough. So, we'll survive without you somehow. So Monardia is a genus of flowering plants in the mint family, Lamiaceae. The genus is endemic to North America. Common names include bee balm, horsemint, I know how to pronounce that name, and I can't remember. And bergamot. So the latter inspired by the fragrance of the leaves, which is reminiscent of bergamot orange. There's bergamot tea, and I don't really like bergamot. Bergamot you can find in essential oil. Also don't like it, and I like a whole lot of like scents and tastes and weirdness, but not bergamot. So anyway, so that's what she's talking about. And yeah, bee balm is cool. So so she said, but the mint is a plant. So this this mentha this mint that she's talking about is the river mint, and this is the Latin for it. Yeah, so that is the river mint. It's a plant I use most often for the mint part of the recipe. It's strong tasting, but won't burn the tongue like a Monardia can, and kicks up the perceptible circulation with little fuss. Plus, it grows right down by the river pretty much year round, and I can even my 11-year-old daughter down. That's a typo. So she can even send her 11-year-old daughter down to fetch some up to the cabin, as it's both easily recognized and abundant. So yeah, mint is cool because you know, it's very common. So everyone can recognize it. A strong mint like this is both stimulating and relaxing to some degree, but much more towards the stimulating end of the spectrum overall. It excels at moving stagnation throughout the body, including the circulation, which is exactly why it's so incredibly useful in diaphoretic teas at the onset of cold or flu, or when that same cold or flu is decided to try and stick around rather than moving along at a polite pace. So, so has anyone, yeah, I didn't get time to read it, get any discussion questions together, guys. All right. So I'm going to try to think of something. The idea of stimulating versus relaxing diaphragms can seem confusing or intimidating at first glance, but really it's quite common sense. Indications for relaxing diaphragms include signs of excess tension such as restlessness, irritability, erratic pulse, a flushed face, and a red tongue, insomnia, tight muscles, and jerky, rapid movements. Indication for stimulating diaphragms includes signs of excess laxity, there's lethargy, weakness, pallor, slow pulse, pale tongue, apathy, subjective feelings of coldness, and an aversion to wind and cold. That's strange. You would think that, no, that's right. So you'd want the relaxingness when you are nervous, and you'd want the calmingness when you, sorry, reverse that. You want the stimulatingness when you are too relaxed, but not really relaxed in a good way, because you're kind of depressed. You're just sort of blah. You know, and I definitely have more of the, a lot of times I feel like I'm just more needing more of the stimulating, because I tend to go kind of, you know, I get cold, and I get kind of stagnant and stuff like that in general. So even if you weren't sick, you could probably, like, you know, use a more stimulating peppermint, but she is not saying what kind would be more stimulant. I guess the balm would be. Hi, Missy's Enchanted Channel. Hello, how are you today? Welcome. We are talking about mint today. And I think you've been here before, right? Yeah, a time or two. We are reading this book, A Weedwife's Remedy. So good, yes. And we're talking about mint. So if you have a favorite mint, feel free to pop it in the chat. And also, like, how is your what is your favorite way to use your mint, whether like it's tea or something else, you know, or yeah, or like, we're talking about using it when you're sick. So yeah. And right now, the mint, so she's talking about using elderberry, mint, and yarrow in this like combination. And right now, in my area, at least, the yarrow is blooming. And spearmint, awesome. That's a really good choice. I really like that one. It's got kind of a, like a, I don't know, slightly milder flavor than peppermint. Yeah, it's cool. I used to drink, I don't know, I used to chew double mint gum, and I believe that had spearmint in it, because I I like peppermint now, but like in the past, like I didn't like peppermint. So my favorite mint is apple mint. And if anyone knows about apple mint, you know that it's like, it grows really big and has these really big, like kind of fuzzy leaves, and it has a nice kind of mild, mellow flavor. So, and I showed a cutting that I had on in part 1 the last time we were on, which, you know, it didn't grow roots, but anyway, I just wanted to bring an example of a mint from around my neighborhood. But yeah. So how do you do spearmint tea? Do you like it in gum? Do you how do you do your spearmint? So yeah, so my point was you can get your mint and your yarrow now, and then in the, you love it in gum. Hey, that's good. Gum is good. Gum is not necessarily good for you, but it's good. Yeah, that's great. I used to chew gum for the mint, like, because my stomach, would get upset, and I have some digestive issues, and so I used to do that for, I was like, I'm feeling a little funny, I am, back when I wasn't quite sure what I was sensitive to, so like sometimes it just got upset, and it was really easy and handy because you could take it on the go. And it had enough of the mint in there, that like the real mint, that it just did it just really right away. It was really great. Now I like to do like peppermint patties. Although you could just get like mint in a tincture by Herb Farm, and I think it's like peppermint spirits. You can do that. Or there's these mint pills. They're like capsules of little balls of mint called IB Guard for basically for IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. But you could take them, if you need to get some mint in you. And it's called a medical food, which is really funny. I mean, they have it at drugstores, they have it on Amazon, and it's really easy to get. But I just thought that was really funny when my doctor gave me those. So I was like, this is hilarious and great at the same time. So, I have IBS since I was a kid. Yeah. I have found that peppermint helps me a lot of times with some gas. But you have, IBS is fun. Some issues with that. So, have you found that it is still helpful for you? Bloating. Yeah. I'm not sure if the mint helps with that as well. I was saying last week it was really interesting because, like, for digestion, I know that warm stuff is better. So, like, with peppermint, I was like, hey, that's kind of cold, but yet it helps digestion too. And a lot of the other warming herbs like turmeric and ginger and cinnamon and stuff like that are good for digestion. So it feels like peppermint is kind of like something, mint can go either way, warming or cooling. And apparently, in this case, when she's talking about diaphoretics, which is like we were talking earlier, that it makes you sweat, there are stimulating and relaxing diaphoretics. So I'm assuming there are stimulating and relaxing mint diaphoretics. But that is one question I don't think she had answered. So, which I find really cool when you find those things in the plants. So, yeah. But yeah, everyone feel free to please put down what your favorite mint is and how you most use it and enjoy it and love it and stuff. She's talking about spearmints. Okay, cool. So we're on page 98. If anyone has the book and is following along, So if truly in doubt, it usually works pretty well given a formula that's a mix of relaxant and stimulating diaphragms, such as the basic elderflower, mint, and yarrow, one given above. Mints can work in almost any case, with spearmint more appropriate for small children or those of delicate constitution. Maybe us who has digestive issues may have more of a delicate constitution. With peppermint and rivermint being more called for in the average adult or especially robust little one. Note that for diaphoretic teas to be effective, they need to be taken very warm in hot temperature, preferably while the person is bundled up, so that helps you sweat. That's cool. All right, this is water ebony, moving the digestive currents. Just as rivermint has a way with moving sluggish circulation, it is likewise quite adept at helping stagnant belly energy on its way. This is particularly useful when there's bloating. All right, so it does help with bloating. Epigastric pressure, constipation, and or the desire to burp, but the inability to do so. I hate that. Does anyone have that? Has anyone ever had that? It is awful. You just like, you know, you're just like, come on. It's like stuck. You're just like, it's not fun. It's not funny. Oh my gosh. With the excess air staying firmly stuck somewhere in the vicinity of the chest cavity. As with most gut/digestive issues, tea is often preferable for this sort of thing, but tincture, elixir, syrup, infused vinegar, or similar can also work if that's what you have on hand. Keep in mind that Mentha species can aggravate some cases of acid reflux and is generally most appropriate when energy needs to be moved up, whereas something like acid reflux is a clear sign of energy that needs to be rooted and pushed down. If it doesn't work, there's stuck belly energy, but you can't figure out what direction needs to go, try an Artemisia instead. So, yeah. Okay. So Artemisia is mugwort, or a Artemisia species. But the most common Artemisia, I believe, is the mugwort, and that's Artemisia vulgaris. And that's just really common everywhere. I definitely always have stuck belly energy a lot. Just everything's stuck. Definitely deal with like trying not to stagnate. Always moving. I'm always like holding on to things, and I've got to let things go, and that's just how I am. So, yeah. So okay, so going with that theme, we're talking about movement, right? So, yeah. So I was asking this question last time, and I'll ask it again because I think it's a good question. Like, when you get that like stuck feeling, how do you feel like you get unstuck? Like whether like you're just feeling like stuck in life, you're just feeling like lethargic, you're just feeling like, I don't know, just like you can't feel like you can't move forward, or like how do you what do you do to sort of overcome that? I like to go out running. I do that a lot. Yeah, what are some other things that, just sort of like helps you do this movement? Since we're talking about movement, I try to get out of the house and walk. Yeah, that's really awesome too. If I'm not going running, go walking, get outside. You know, it's a really good time to go outside. If it's not too hot by you, or because like by me, all the flowers are blooming, like the echinacea, just the flowers. I don't even know what they are. All of them that are blooming. Like there's a whole bunch of like crazy gardens on my street. Like people and it's been raining a lot, so there's just like this huge explosion of flowers and plant life, and sometimes that's really nice. I like also like taking a shower, because you can feel like the running water, or if you can get to a pool, that would be good too. I used to do that. You just feel this nice movement, in the water, and all that stuff. So yeah, that's awesome. You see, yeah. There's nothing like a good walk, right? Even in like the winter, just like bundle up and like we're a whole bunch of exercise. Yeah, exercise is really good. And even like the low impact with the walking, it does a lot. You think it doesn't, but it does a lot. I run. I do a slow run. Probably like a fast walk to most people. But it's just about the movement. No, I'm not trying to like win the race, stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah. But just get some movement there. All right, at the bottom of page 98. So mint can also be one of our most effective herbs for nausea, especially lingering nausea after food poisoning or stomach flu. Also, it's generally most helpful as a tea for this application, although I've seen tinctures and elixirs have a notable effect when tea is not available. Yeah, tea is not often like the most portable thing, so you could take an elixir, which I believe elixirs are classified as honey and vinegar and hold on. Yeah, that's honey. What? Get a mint elixir recipe up here. Okay. Ooh, an apple mint and lime elixir recipe. That's cool. Mint Mama Moonshine. There's a food and wine? Alright, I don't know. These are more like, this is not right. No. These are like mint cocktails and stuff like that. Let's see. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, here's from the Herbal Academy, which is pretty good. This is a rosemary memory elixir. Yeah, so it's brandy and honey and all of these herbs. This is a memory one. You can make all kinds of different ones, but this is just sort of like so you can have some idea of what elixir. You have to go. Oh, well, have a good day. Thank you for joining us, Missy. Yeah. Bye. Yes, I enjoyed talking with you as well. Okay, so that's a elixir recipe. I just typed in herbal elixir recipe because I wasn't sure. Yeah, so it's brandy and herbs and honey. But that is more portable than tea. You know, it's like, let me whip out my teapot, and you know, it doesn't. You know, I mean, and in order to get enough, like, and also like you need a lot of tea to get like a medicinal strength tea. Like you need like 5 tea bags of mint tea, so you can carry around mint tea with you. But you know, if you're having some issues, you can probably do less. But I think it's about 5 tea bags to equal like the amount of tea you need to make it like a medicinal tea. But like I've had mint work in a peppermint patty. I've had mint work with peppermint gum. So like I feel like just a little bit of mint goes a long way because there's not that much, you know, the peppermint patties that can have a lot of actual mint in it, but like some of them don't, right? So yeah, they can go a long way. So I would play around with it, but yeah, you can carry tea bags with you. It's just the hot water and all that stuff. Although I really love when they have the water coolers where they have the hot spigot and the cold spigot. So you can just get hot water right like that. It's like the perfect thing. Like if you're in like a work setting or something like that. Those are genius, and I love it. And I get mad when the hot one doesn't work. I'm like, no. All right. But you know, if you do the elixir, you can just take this little bottle with you and just get a dropper full or whatever. So a little less complicated. Right. So we're on page 99. We might finish mint today. And then we'll go on to oats. So oats will be our next one, which is pretty awesome. Good time for oats. Because it's good for your it's a nervine. And it's a crazy time we are living in. So right. So top of page 99. Mint is doubly useful post-flu or food poisoning because of how useful its antispasmodic action can be on residual gut cramping. If anyone has had any gut cramping, you know it's alongside mint's related digestive effects, it can be very useful in cases where there's stagnant depression that is accompanied by bloating and sometimes by lack of appetite overall. Traditional healers have long known that our emotions and state of mind are immediately tied to gut health. Yep. Whilst conventional medicine is just beginning to catch up with this notion that is only recently considered radical by the mainstream. Yeah, it's totally true because I have so irritable bowel syndrome. For those of you who are less familiar with the term, everyone may know it, but it's just a catch-all phrase. And basically they don't know what's wrong with you. You just have digestive issues and they can't figure it out. Like, because I had so much testing, like all kinds of looking inside me and seeing what's wrong, and they're like, your insides are gorgeous, but yet I was still having these issues. So it was complete mind body. And when I have something that happens to me, it doesn't take long before I feel it in my stomach, or I'll just feel it in my body. Like I'm just, you know, I'll get this like kind of generally icky, just I don't feel good feeling. And so yeah, that has been my experience. And you know, it can be tough with the doctors. You know, they want to help you, but they don't know what's going on, and you know, and so you have to be, hello, iridescent seed. Yes, hello. Yes, you can relate. Yes, I think a lot of us have some of this, and I don't know if it's due to like the world we live in and what our digestive systems and our immune systems and all this stuff is reacting to it. But yeah, a lot of people have the IBS, and everyone has it slightly differently. Everyone has the experience of it slightly differently because we're all different. Yes, so yeah, it's difficult. So, you know, I got to figure out like what's going on in my brain. Usually I feel it in my body first, and I don't know what's triggering it. So yeah, it's a lot of work. Doctors aren't perfect. No, they're not. They're people too, you know, and you know, even though like my gastro doctor was had not a greatest bedside manner, I think he generally cared and was trying to help me. And then you know, I also have a wonderful family doctor, as well as I go to see acupuncture. I do yoga. I do a lot of things on like the more alternative side and the more like not alternative side. So, you know, kind of have that balance. But I think most of them try. I eventually figured out that emotions and stress affect my belly. Yeah. For me, it was the only thing that was left because they, you know, literally I had pictures of my gorgeous inside, which is good. But, you know, I didn't have cancer, I didn't have Crohn's, I didn't have all the other things, colitis, all the other things you can have. But, you know, and then on the other hand, it was a little more challenging on how do I go from the state of being unwell all the way to functioning again with, you know, just doing like working with your mind-body connection. And so it took a lot of, took therapy, and yoga and the sauna. The sauna is really awesome. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, no sauna. I don't have one in my home, which I would really love. Little sauna for me. But I drink mint tea every morning. Sleepy time tea. Nice. I love the celestial seasonings. So I do find it's helpful for your digestion. I am drinking, actually I'm not drinking mint tea, I'm drinking turmeric tea and I'm drinking Tulsi tea. So turmeric is good for digestion, and Tulsi is good for, it's an adaption, but it's really good for, it sort of is very relaxing and calming to me. It's like a hug in a tea bag. And I've got 4 tea bags in here because I believe in more tea is good. The most tea you can have is, you know, good. So, yeah. Iridescent tea. What's your favorite mint? Is your sleepy time your favorite, or do you have like a favorite mint? Yeah. So, as a side note, I have not seen mentha species be as useful in morning sickness, where I am more likely to suggest peach leaf or ginger. It does work sometimes, but not as consistently as the other aforementioned herbs. I like peppermint and spearmint. Nice. Awesome. Very good choices. You can't go wrong, really. You cannot go wrong. I just want like a garden with all the mints. It's not possible. There's a lot. You know, there's a lot of mints. So, but mints are definitely one of my favorite plants, and I love that this stem is square. Wintergreen is really nice for aromatherapy. Yes, I agree. Yeah, and it's also good, like, if you've got some suggestion in your chest, it opens everything up. You just smell it, and I love like the Christmas, like the crispness of it. Of course, Christmas would also, it would bring to mind that time of year. With this like it's like snow, and when you're in the forest and stuff like that. And I feel like it even takes it up a notch, because peppermint is a little bit sweet compared to wintergreen. Wintergreen is really like crispy, and so yeah, definitely, I'm a fan of that. I need to break out my diffuser. It's behind this pile of books and tarot cards. So, cool. The Rivers Within, Mintha alvinus as a menagogue. So this is the river mint she's been talking about as a menagogue, which I always have to look up what that is because I can never remember, and Heather's probably gonna yell at me because we defined it last week. Substance that stimulates and increases menstrual flow. Okay. This is from what? Wikipedia. Just a short definition of a menagogue. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to remember that. And then this week, I'm like, nah, I still forgot. I need to make herbal action flashcards and just like memorize it and be done with it. But, I mean, yeah. So, okay, 3:47. We'll probably end at 4. And we may or may not get done. So it's an menagogue, a distinctive trait among the Mynthus genus, specifically this river mint she's talking about, is a high pergon. Oh, so this is an herbal constituent which I have never heard of before. It's one of the active ingredients in a plant. So she says it's also found in pennyrow. Causes this species to be very effective menagogue. It's most indicated when the menses, your period, are late. There's a feeling of heaviness and bloating, and a distinct feeling of stuckness in the pelvic area. Sometimes, but not always, accompanied by dull, intermittent cramping. That sounds awful. That's one of the issues I've never had, which is I'm very, fortunate not to have an issue. Sometimes you feel like you have them all, but you don't. You're just like, I have more than I need. It seems as well with ginger, where there's a feeling of coldness along with other symptoms, and motherwort, where there's more likely to be overheatiness, a flushed face, and a quick temper. This particular action makes the plant indivisible during pregnancy, especially the early stages of delicate pregnancy. However, the chances of successfully using this plant to purposely terminate even an early stage of pregnancy are basically null, so it's probably not worthwhile making yourself ill feeling with massive dosage trying. Same applies to the whole plant of pennyroyal. So yeah, we just dived into from you know, your period is late and you're stuck, to like, you know, talking about ending pregnancy in one paragraph. That was pretty crazy. So yes, when you're dealing with herbs of pregnancy, you really have to know what you're doing, and I cannot speak because I do not know enough on that subject. So just, you know, if you want to use herbs with your pregnancy, you need to talk to someone who really knows. An herbalist who specifically deals with herbs in pregnancy. And pennyroyal is a pretty crazy plant. So probably just to stay, not mess with that one either if you don't want to know what you're doing. Sometimes not generally discussed in contemporary Western herbalism in regards to mint species is their specific effect on the hepatic system. So the hepatic system is your liver. Well, hepatic refers to the liver. I don't know if she's talking about more than the liver here, particularly with Mentha X. Okay, so these are two species she's talking about. And this river mint. So I know this one is the river mint. And then this first one, I am not sure. I'm going to look up what, which one she's talking about in the common. She's giving us the Latin, which is really good if you want to know what you're talking about. But also, oh, peppermint. Yeah. Oh, peppermint is a hybrid mint. I didn't know that. It's a cross between water mint and spearmint, as the Wikipedia says. That's nifty. I don't know what water mint is. Ugh, I hate it when it doesn't. So Mentha X Pippa, I can't pronounce anything. So that's peppermint and watermint. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna look at watermint, you guys. Water. Watermint. Wow. Maybe this is this river mint she's talking. Well, no. No. It's different. It's this Menthia aquatica. So this is what water mint is. This is water mint. You have to type it in as 2 words, or else it doesn't bring you up the right thing. So that's water mint, and apparently, it's found in moist paste places because otherwise it'd be called water mint. All right, so that's the Wikipedia definition of water mint. And we all know what spearmint is, so I had no idea that. You learn something new every day, right? Well, not every day, but you learn something new. You can. New things that can be learned occasionally. All right, cool. So This genus has particularly affinity for cleansing unresolving rashes that are triggered by liver, wind, and heat, as in many cases of acute hepatitis or flare-ups in chronic hepatitis, tea or tincture can work in this situation. So when she's talking about wind and heat, it's a very Chinese traditional medicinal term, which I wish I was more familiar with, because that is really cool. The 5 elements theory of traditional Chinese medicine is amazing. I just took a tiny 2-day class on it, just scratched the surface, but it was really, really amazing. So she's just talking about that, which unfortunately I don't have any more information about it. So I think wind is gas. Okay, that would make sense, right? No, it totally makes sense. And heat, of course, would be like that rash. It's very hot, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Hi, everyone who's joined us. We're talking about mint today. So if you have a favorite mint, please let us know in the chat. So I want to know everyone's favorite mint. Hey, Tammy Pie. Hello. Late to the party. Yeah. Self-heal. A mint plant as well. Yes. Well, there's a lot. Let's see. Let's look it up. So yeah, it's a member of the mint family, but it lacks a minty. It lacks that minty flavor, mintiness. Prunella vulgaris. Yeah. Hello. Hello, Wood Thrush Cottage. Hi, welcome. This is Prunella vulgaris. Hold on. Copy. I always have to put it like into sections because you can only have like 200 characters. So that's Nepeta. Let's look that one up. All these mints I don't know. What do you guys use them for? And how? Ooh, oh, catnip. Nice. I have a catnip growing. Oh, I have some lovely pictures of in bloom in a small pot outside that has some like fungus or something. Apparently there are 250 species. Wow. And so I don't know if it's gonna make it, and I need to desperately transplant it. My cat loves it even more than I do. Yep, I think that's why it's like has that common name, But cats, I found like all kinds of plants. Like they're crazy for like valerian. They're crazy for they like mugwort. So they are they also do like catmint. Sorry, brain fart. Oh, but for some reason that mint just got connected with the cats because they probably like it too, right? Like you said. So, but yeah, I mean, think you mentioned that herb, that in your live with Simon, if I'm not mistaken. I probably did. It was a lot. I did say a lot. But I do make mugwort smudge sticks. Oh, that's probably how I mention it, because I make them and I sell them in my Etsy shop. So, and it's also one of my favorite plants. Yeah. So yeah, I just love that mugwort. I love the smell of it, and I just love it. And I make oil too, so yeah. And it's just, I don't know, it's just very like dreamy, and yeah. So so we're on page 100. We're reading this book. I don't know if anyone has it. Just here, A Weedwife's Remedy, and so we're on page 100. Let's see. I want to try to get some mugwort. I like the name too, mugwort. Oh, yeah. Do you know how I got that name? Because the Latin name is Artemisia vulgaris, but it was. Stop me if you've heard this, but it was originally used for making beer before hops, like before people were using hops. And literally, it's wort means plant, basically, and it's usually literally like mug plant, a plant for your mug, which is fun. I kind of wish people would still like make it. I think a mugwort beer would be really, really, really cool. But so if someone wants to make a mugwort beer, please do. I won't be able to have it because I can't have beer. But wow, that's interesting. Yeah, yes, irritants. Yeah, I mean, I just said my digestion, beer, and also like I just choose not to drink alcohol. Thank you for explaining the etymology. I love words, origins, Latin meanings, answer things. Yes, you're welcome. Yeah, that's one of the ones that I do know, the how it got its common name, which is really cool. I wish I knew like how more of the herbs, got their common names. And of course, with herbalism, you're just gonna get a lot of Latin too. And and there are some plants that have the same common name, so then that's why usually you'll see the common name and then the Latin name, so that everyone knows what they're talking about, because there's no two Latin names the same. And that's why, like, I usually, or if you're posting a Latin name, I'll put up, a common name, and vice versa, so that everyone sort of knows. Usually the common names are easier to pronounce, but there's a lot of cool things in the Latin names, because some of them tell you where the plant comes from or originally comes from. So that's cool. Yeah, a lot of history going on. I think the naming, how they name plants, is pretty good. Pretty good. Seems to work pretty well. So, and it's pretty recent. Like, oh gosh, I can't remember when they started doing this this naming thing, but I could be wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about there. Forget it. Let's look it up. But I can't. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So it's either pretty recent or like 200 years ago. All right. So I'm on page 100. Additionally, wild mint and other allied species can be great for helping to relieve pain and inflammation of sore throats from acute cold or flu onset, especially if accompanied by fever. I like to make simple honey pastilles using finely ground herbs in appropriately equal proportions of rose petal, wild mint leaves, marshmallow root, and sage leaf. So I think those are like little herbal pills. And you can look up how to make herbal pills, and it's usually like powdered herbs and honey, some sort of way to stick it together. Some are like, some you have to bake, and others, like, I think you can just roll up, and some need to be refrigerated and some don't, which is really cool to experiment with that. And it's like an easy way to take herbals. This is working with mint. While mint is amenable to a great many preparations, but it's important to keep in mind that the aromatics are a large portion of what you're after, so you don't want to lose them through too much heat processing or evaporation. A simple but strong tea is often the best way for most folks, but most find it tasty that way, and even more if it blended with other mentha species such as a bit of lemon balm and or some honey. I do often make an elixir with brandy or rum. Yummy. I don't get along with beer, but I'm okay with like any kind of alcohol. Even though like usually I'm just using them in tinctures and stuff like that. Like I'm not. I don't often drink. Just to drink. But I do often make. Okay. You can see where I have to end soon because my brain is starting to be all a little funny. But we're almost done, so it'd be cool to finish up the mint. All right. So she makes an elixir with brandy or rum and local desert wildflower honey to have something more easily transportable on hand. But really, a thermos or travel cup is pretty convenient as well, and many of the mint's most important actions just work better when it's taken hot, even if that means a couple squirts of tincture taken in a cup of hot water. Yes, for my mint tea, I pour the water over, then cover it with a small cloth to stay the aromatics. Yeah, I do that too. I cover this with a plate, which doesn't. It mostly covers it. It's like a huge cup, and because that steam coming out of your tea is all the good stuff. So you don't want to lose that. And it got really dark. It's gonna rain. In fact, mint tea will happen in 6 minutes. Nice. Mint tea for the mint tea. Yeah. Afternoon thunderstormies. I think it's gonna happen today. Yeah, so yes, all the teas you just want to cover. I know when I was at work, people thought I was insane because I was like covering my tea. And unfortunately, like all we had is like the covers with like, you have the coffee and they give you a cup with a top and it's got a little cutout so you can drink it, but not really great for tea because you want to completely cover it. But that's all I had, so I was like, okay, well, hopefully it didn't lose all the aromatics. I would try to like cover it with like another cap the other way or something like that, but and then all my tea bags, yeah, that was great. They were like, you're weird. I was like, this is how you're supposed to make tea, guys. This is it. But most people are more familiar with making like beverage teas just for flavor, which is fine. But it's a little different when you're making like sort of more medicinal teas. Also, I do make some of my standard bitter blends with various mints, including for its carminative and overall digestive stimulating effects. But you'll find a simple recipe for just such a general bitters formula. So she's got Wild River Bitters Blend. And there's a recipe here. And I'll post it on the Facebook page. I'm back. Had to reconnect Wi-Fi. Oh, well, welcome back. I'm glad it's working now. Is it like storming by you? It's about to storm here. So I will post this Wild Rivers Bitters Blend recipe on the Facebook group page. If you there's a link down in the bottom. Well, I'll put the link up in here. Yeah. So this should be, yeah. So that's the link, and it should get you to the Herbal Book Club Facebook page. So if you want to stay up on all the book club happenings, or participate in some of the discussions over there. Yeah, sometimes it's pretty quiet, but other times, we're posting stuff. Please feel free to join. There's some questions, and you don't have to answer them, but or if you do, no pressure. And yeah, and I'll post this recipe, but I'll say it right now. So it's 1 part dandelion leaf / root. She says preferably spring harvested. 1 part mugwort or any other local Artemisia species you have on hand. More used if it's a less bitter species like A. vulgaris, and less for super bitter species. 1 part wild mint flowering tops. So bitters are really great because they help you with your digestion, and it's just the bitterness, because it helps your liver function better, because poison things are bitter, so your liver has to decide, is this poison? And it kind of wakes it up, so it makes it function better. You've probably heard of bitters, people taking bitters, but this is a make your own. You can buy bitters. It's just that bitter taste, and here in the USA, we don't get a lot of that bitter taste in our diet. We just don't. We get a whole lot of sweet and salty, but we don't get that bitter. So she said these can be tinctured, either fresh or dry, in your preferred alcohol and proportion of something like raw honey, molasses, or maple syrup can be added for specific medicinal reasons, or simply to satisfy your taste buds. A dropper full, or a teaspoon, if you prefer, 15 minutes before eating, can help stimulate digestion after a heavy meal. Or if you tend to experience bloating after eating, I do suggest fine-tuning bitter blends for the individual, but this is a nice general formula to keep on hand. So yeah, and I guess if you didn't have wild mint, you can use whatever. Hi Heather, you did make it back. We are wrapping up. How are the kitties? I look all green. I look yellow. How are the kitties? Yes. I'm gonna post a bitters blend on the Facebook group, so that'll be fun. Yeah, so I'm assuming you could just use your own mint, and then the mugwort, can be Artemisia vulgaris, and then dandelion. Like, all these things are very, very common, easy, simple, and then she's talking about dosage, which I think is in general, not necessarily the dosage of the bitters, because we did talk about that. Yeah. So wild mint is generally a safe food-like herb, and the tea, pesto, and similar preparations can all be taken to taste and satisfaction, except for pregnant women, which in some just substitute a milder mint like spearmint in food-like preparations, and without much cause for concern. In a medicinal sense, if it is going to work for nausea, it'll probably cause the symptoms to abate within the first half cup or so of tea. If it doesn't help, then it's worth trying something else. So onion got shots, but I have to give the rest some medication for later. Okay, so well, I'm glad they're gonna be doing okay though. You know, in a little bit. Poor Onion. Was Onion like the worst? Yes, we had a big storm here in central North Carolina. Ah, so I'm in western North Carolina, so maybe we're getting your storm with Thrush Cottage. So these are some considerations. Onion. Aww, poor Onion. Not advisable during pregnancy due to a menagogue action, which we talked about before. Can aggravate some cases of acid reflux. Generally a safe, pleasant, and well-tolerated herb by a wide variety of folks, but not constitutionally appropriate in large doses or over large periods of time for those debilitated from chronic illnesses, especially if profuse sweating exists as a symptom, because it'll cause you sweating. Can't cause it. My kitty's name Kit Kat, the hunter or Orion. Nice. He seemed the worst. Heather seemed the worst. Easier to bring one to the vet than all of them. Oh, okay. So the others had all the same symptoms, but Onion actually was the only one who went to the vet. Okay. I'm sorry, Orion. Been calling the poor kitty Onion. Sorry. Ugh. It's been a day, man. All right. So guys, all right. So we are going to pick up next week on page 102. We're going to talk about oats. So that'll be, I kind of like it. Yeah. That's a good name for a kitty. Maybe I should name my next kitty Onion. My cat is white. He could be an onion. We call him a bean sometimes. I don't know why. But anyway, Eugene the Bean. Well, I hope they feel better soon, Heather. You just subscribed to your Facebook page. Oh, awesome! Even though I don't go on very often. That's okay, Iridescency. Thank you. I got a new book by Botany, A Lesson in Healing, Cordials, and Plant Magic. Ooh. Heather loves making like all kinds of concoctions in the kitchen. So wait, do you have a cat that needs a name? I don't have a cat yet that needs a name, so all the cat. Oh, it's raining now. It's just pouring. It feels nice when it's raining. It's always so hot. You know, it's just like You can probably hear the fan going. Because we don't have any air conditioning here. So got one in the bedroom, which I'm gonna escape to after I get off here. But it really feels nice now. So awesome. Well, you'll have to make something from your book and post it on our Facebook group. You do, Heather. A black with white spot on his chest. Oh, I wish it would rain here. I wish it would rain there too for you. Maybe it's heading your way. You know, you could be next if it's heading west. Thanks for the warm welcome. I found you on Simon's Live. You're welcome. Well, I'm glad. With Thrush Cottage, that's what it's called. Yeah. Wool. Sorry. Wood. Yes. Got it. Mugwort would be a good kitty name. It would be it would. It would. I agree. Or Artemisia. Hey, Sonia. Oh my gosh, we are just wrapping up. But you can stay for the wrap up. Yeah, we were talking about mint today. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, thank you for finding me from Simon's Live. It was pretty awesome. It was really great. I'm glad I did it. It was pretty crazy. I was super nervous, but so the cordial book sounds wonderful. Yeah, Heather, will you post a link to the cordial book for us? So Heather just showed up 2 weeks ago. Heather has, how many cats do you have, Heather? Oh, I don't know if Onion is a good name for that cat though. But if you think it's an onion, I get all my kitties that way. Like they just show up. Like all of our kitties, they just showed up. We didn't go find them. They kind of found us. And my parents actually had that happen to them too. Like they got a second kitty, a Siamese, and he just showed up. And he goes on walks with my parents. Like he just follows them around. So it's really fun. Thundering here, love the rain. Yeah, me too. I do really like the rain a lot. I don't, and it rains and then it clears up and everything else. I will join the Facebook group. I am Diana. Diane. Sorry. I'm terrible with names. You'll learn this. On Facebook, I wish I could change my name on Facebook to Woodbrush Cottage. So you can have a page. I think on Facebook they make you have your real name. But if you had a page or a group, then you can have it as that. But I'm not 100% sure. So I would just check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, but I seem to remember that they just make you have your name. So you pushed the wrong button? Where? When, Heather? Yeah, so yeah, we post stuff up on the group. So okay. So this is the book Heather got. She's got a link to Thrift Books, which is where did I put? Ah, there it is. Oh. You can get it for very good for $9.69. Used. It's really good for used books, mostly in really good condition. So yeah. Hello, Raven Morning Glory. Hello, everyone has shown up late today. Yikes! It's a ridiculously long URL for Amazon. That's okay. Just you bought it on Amazon. Oh, hold on. I can get it to go. Because hold on. Yeah, I found a way to do that where it just sort of tricks it into being shorter. It is long, isn't it? You like click on the author. Oh, it's not letting me. The author's page, and then you like click back on the book, and it just makes the link shorter, which is really weird. So it's $12.99. It's hardcover. It's $14.39 used on Amazon, which is not bad. Yeah. Okay. So that's the Amazon listing for this book that Heather has. So, yeah, I'm gonna put it on. So you've got some options. 7 left. Arrives for me August 4th to the 11th. Came out last year. No, 2 years ago, September 8th, 2018. So, this is some. Oh, no, it came in the mail today. Got some information about it, but it, you know. Yeah, sometimes things take longer. Inside readers and herbalism practitioners will find 40 cordial recipes organized by season. I love that. Each with their own healing properties. So it sounds great, Heather. And I harvested skullcap and hung it to dry today. Awesome. Awesome. So jealous of your garden and your ability to do the gardening. It's really cool. I know, even though sometimes you don't feel up to it, but I think it's really great. Okay, guys. So we're gonna have to wrap up because it's 4:27. But I want to thank everyone for coming. And everything else and talking about the mint. It's been really fun. And yeah, we're going to talk about oats next week. So that should be fun. I'm going to try to read the oats section. Ha ha ha. It's always the goal. So you can have some discussion questions because that's always good. And so we're switching gears. We're going to talk about oats, which I think it's just past when you want to get these oats and tincture them. These guys are best done fresh. So, yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm reading. All right, so yes, I hope everybody has a good week, and Heather, I hope your kitties start to feel better, and thanks everyone who is new, and I will approve your requests for the group. And oh, I gotta remember to post this bitters recipe. And sorry, Sonia, that we are just wrapping up, but I'm glad you were able to pop in. So all right, everyone, have a good week, and bye. Bye, guys.